Hello and welcome to the Weekly Bone. My name is Marco Hanna from PhoneDog.com, and let's get started with the Weekly Bone. We have a great slam-packed show for you today, and it all starts with Aaron Baker's dogfight between the Google Nexus 4 and the BlackBerry Z10. Google Nexus 4 is basically their pure vanilla Android device, and the Z10 is really BlackBerry's make it or break it device, and both these devices may seem out of range from each other, but actually they are very similar in price, specs, and hardware on those two devices. If you've forgotten the specs of the Z10 or the Nexus 4, the Z10 has a 4.2-inch 720p display, a dual-core 1.5 GHz processor, and 2 GB of RAM. The Nexus 4 is a pure Android device running Android 4.2 Jelly Bean, and also has a 1.5 GHz dual-core processor and 1 GB of RAM. Aaron gives the win to the Google Nexus 4 for a couple of reasons. One of them is being the price. The off-contract price for the Nexus 4 is only $299. If you're trying to get the Z10 for an off-contract price, you're going to end up paying $450 for the first model, and it goes all the way up to $650. Also, the app ecosystem on the Google Nexus 4, obviously Google Play has been there for a lot longer, almost as long as the iOS Store, and the applications will also be a lot more on the Google Play Store than BlackBerry App World. Our own Mr. Alex Wagner reported about the iPhone update for T-Mobile users. Well, if you already have an iPhone that's using T-Mobile's network, you're usually stuck with Edge, and that is a very, very ridiculously slow network. But there is a new update now out for all T-Mobile iPhone users that will update their iPhone's firmware to not only run on 4G HSPA+, but 4G HSPA, and also if you have an iPhone 5 that is currently unlocked and using a T-Mobile SIM, you will be able to use their LTE networks in the select cities that have T-Mobile's LTE network. Also, it will unlock things like HD voice and MMS on iPhone users, so hopefully and finally you can now send pictures without worrying about it won't send through your T-Mobile network. And lastly, one of the biggest updates to the iPhone T-Mobile software is battery optimization. How many times have you had an iPhone on T-Mobile's network die on you, as seen in this dramatic reconstruction? No! Next up, quite literally the news that we thought would change the way we use Facebook until we actually saw it. Yes, I am talking to you about the new Facebook phone. HTC, Facebook, and AT&T have a partnership now, with HTC making devices and the HTC devices only being exclusive to AT&T's network. So, the device is called the HTC First. So, it's a 4.3-inch display, it has a 1.4 GHz dual-core processor, and it has Facebook Home pre-installed on top of its Android 4.2. The device sort of sounds mid-range, and to be honest, it is pretty mid-range. The device does not have mind-blowing specs or have a feature that kills any other phone's feature with Facebook. The only difference is Facebook Home is pre-installed onto this device natively, so you don't have to go and download the Facebook Home. Now here's the other side to the story. Facebook Home is not a standalone OS. It's actually an add-on. You can download it and it can be running over your Android 4.2, and they actually announced availability of coming to the Samsung Galaxy S4, the S3, the HTC One, usually mostly high-end devices, but there will be more phones being added to that list. So make sure if you have a phone that's capable of running Facebook Home, you can just download it instead of buying this mid-range phone for $99. I personally wouldn't buy one of those phones. I would rather have an S4 or an HTC One, a really high-end product that I would love using, and also a new way to use Facebook Home. Well, that about does it. My name is Marco Hanna from PhoneDog.com. You can follow me on Twitter at GEMarcoHanna, or you can also follow PhoneDog Aaron at PhoneDog_Aaron on Twitter, and I will see you in the next Weekly Bone here on the PhoneDog YouTube channel.